My name is Jane Rawson, and my latest novel is From the Wreck, which was published in 2017. It is both historical fiction and speculative fiction. It's based on the story of my great-great-grandfather, who was shipwrecked in the steamship Admella in 1859, about a mile off the coast of South Australia. And he was trapped there on the wreck for 8 days and nights without any food or water, in the middle of winter in the freezing ocean. And although he managed to survive, only a handful of other people did. And I wanted to write something about what it would be like to have gone through such a traumatic experience and to have come out the other side bearing the burden of that trauma without having any access to mental health care, and without really any recognition of the idea of post-traumatic stress or any of those sorts of things. So that was why I initially began to write this story. But it's also speculative fiction, because one of the things that interests me throughout all my work is the effect that humans have on the environment and on other species on Earth. So part of this story also involves an alien shapeshifter who has come from another planet. She's a refugee from that planet. She's been cast out of her home by humans who have come there to terraform it, to use it for their own reasons, and she has fled through time and space to mid-19th century Port Adelaide, where she becomes enmeshed in the life of George Hills, my ancestor, who was in the wreck of the Admella. I wanted to explore the idea of humans and their relationship with other species, of how humans relate to other humans, how we relate to other animals, and this was the best way that I could think of to do it at the time. Environmental issues is something that flows through a lot of my stories. This is my fourth published book. My previous novels have included A Wrong Turn at the Office of Unmade Lists, which was my first novel. That was set in a climate-changed future Melbourne, but also includes the story of two American teenagers who are being forced to see the whole country by their parents in a mission that will take them many hundreds of years. My other published work of fiction is Formaldehyde, which is a novella. And Formaldehyde is about a woman who has had her arm amputated in an accident and is given somebody else's arm and takes on all the dreams and memories of that arm along with it, and her quest to discover where this arm came from. And I've also written one book of non-fiction, which is called The Handbook, Surviving and Living with Climate Change, which again, obviously explores environmental issues and is a guide to personal adaptation to climate change, how you might become self-sufficient in energy and water, and how you might survive both the physical disasters and the emotional traumas of climate change. So I've been working as a creative writer, I guess, since I was in my early 30s. And before that, I was primarily a professional writer. I've worked as a journalist and an editor. Mostly I've worked on other people's writing, trying to improve it, to make it clearer and more consistent. And I think that that's actually been a great training for my work as a creative writer. I haven't studied creative writing in any depth, but perhaps it's a slow way of getting there. But my work as a professional writer over 20 years or so has given me, I think, the sort of background and confidence in my writing to pursue the sorts of creative writing that I'm interested in, which are fairly niche. So I would say that if you're starting out as a writer, don't feel like you have to do it the same way that everybody else does. Don't feel that you necessarily have to take a creative writing course. Don't feel that you necessarily have to write the most popular kind of fiction. I think one way you can do it, not the only way, is to make sure that you have an income from somewhere else that frees you up to write whatever it is that you most care about. It may only have a small audience, but if you have a passion for it, then it will give you the power that you need, the persistence that you need to keep writing and to get through the sort of emotional setbacks that are often a part of writing. So I think, yeah, if you can provide yourself with things in your life that aren't just writing and that support your writing and let you write freely whatever you want to, then that's a great way to go about it.